I've been getting questions a lot lately from clients about extra cash. They've got money that's built up in the bank. They wonder, what should I do with it? Should I put it in this money market special? Or I saw a 9-month CD or a 12-month CD and it's paying whatever interest rate it's paying. And their question is that a smart thing to do with the extra cash right now? And the question that I have for them, and for you if you're watching the video, is when do you plan to use the money? You don't want to be too short-sighted with it. I'll give you an example. You might be leaving cash on the table with what you're earning from this extra money. So if this is money that you don't actually need access to right now, if it's money that's just put away and it's built up and it's not emergency fund money, it's not money that you'd draw from if something came up or that you're planning to use to buy a car or remodel the house, whatever the case may be, it's not that kind of money. But it's not your long-term stuff. It's not your Roth IRA. It's not your 401k. It's not money that you intend to use far on in the future. It kind of lives in the center. And so you're looking to grow that money, but you may not be ready to commit it to the market or put it in something that has risk of principal or fluctuation. Therefore, it kind of just starts to build up in the bank, and then you look around and go, hey, we got to do something with this. That's a scenario a lot of people find themselves in. And the first place they look is short-term CD. There's risk in a short-term CD, and the risk is if you put it in for a specific period of time and you don't need the money at the end of that term, what can you renew it at that point? So if you're out there right now and you're buying a 12-month CD or a 13-month special or whatever the case may be, what are the interest rates going to be a year from now? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't specifically tell you that, but we can look back at history at specific points in time and understand the difference between buying something a little bit longer term and locking in an interest rate at what was maybe a peak in the interest rate cycle, as opposed to going with that 1 year or shorter term. So keeping in mind that interest rates run in cycles, I'm going to tell you a story. I started in banking in June of 1999, which is now 24 years ago. At that time, we had a money market that was paying around 6%. So think late 90s, things had gone pretty well economically for the decade. Interest rates were at a reasonable level, and you could get 6% on your cash in the bank. FDIC insured money market, 6% special. And so we had a lot of people piled a lot of money into that, or short-term CDs. Now, what happened shortly thereafter? By the end of 2000, the Federal Reserve started cutting interest rates because the dot-com crash had begun. And so they lowered interest rates, and then 9/11 happened, and there was a lot that took place, and interest rates were quite a bit lower just a year or 2 or 3 years on down the road. So I went back and did a little bit of research for the video, because like I said, it was 24 years ago. I wanted to make sure I was remembering things correctly. I've got some numbers. I went to Bankrate and looked at 1-year CDs and 5-year CDs and the historical national average, and I want to go through something with you right now. So take your time machine and let's go back with me to mid-1999. You've got cash in the bank. You're trying to earn more from it. You don't necessarily want to put it in the market. And so you say, hey, Antonio, I heard about this 1-year CD. It's great. I can put it there for 1 year and I make 5.36%. 5.36%, that was the national average 1-year CD rate in the summer in June of 1999. That's a pretty good interest rate. Nobody's mad about getting 5.36%, especially back then. But here's the thing. What if you put it into a 5-year at that time? Instead of a 12-month CD, you said, I'm going to go ahead and put it in for 5 years. Now, the 5-year rate at that time was 5.95%, a little bit higher. The first thing most people think in that circumstance is, I don't want to lock my money up for 4 more years just for that little bit of extra interest, just to go from 5.36 to 5.95. It's not worth it to me. It depends on when you need to use the money and what your goal for the money is, because here's the thing that happened. If you bought that 1-year CD at 5.36, when it came due 1 year later, you couldn't get 5.36. The Federal Reserve had started to lower interest rates at that point. And then the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. So I'll put it up on the screen here, but essentially your interest rates dropped for 5 years running if you took the 1-year CD route as opposed to the 5-year CD route. At the end of 5 years, had you just bought the 5-year CD, if you didn't need the access to the money and left it alone, you come out nicely ahead. If you had put in $100,000 into the 5-year CD at 5.95, you end up north of $133,000 if it just compounded annually over that 5-year period. So you turned 100 into 133 at the end of 5 years if you went with the one-time 5-year CD at 5.95%. So had you bought the 1-year CD, 5.36% at the time. Fast forward 12 months, you come back into the bank, you say, hey, my CD's due. I was getting 5.36. What do you got for me? And they say, we've got 3.65%. And you say, 3.65? No, I want the 5%. They say, well, we don't have the 5% anymore. We got 3.65. Okay, fine. Give me the 1-year CD. I'll see you in a year. I'll come back. Hopefully interest rates will go up. You come back the next year, 2.21. Got worse. Went from 3.65 to 2.21. Meanwhile, 5-year CD guy is just smartest guy around because he's like, I'm getting 5.95%. I was smart. I locked it in. It only gets worse if you're 1-year CD guy. You come back the next year, all of a sudden you're getting 1.13. You come back the year after that, bumped up a little bit, 1.43, but effectively over the same 5-year term, had you bought 5 1-year CDs, you averaged 2.76% in interest as opposed to 5.95. That's just over half the amount of interest, even though the money was there for 5 years because you did it in 1-year increments instead of locking in what turned out to be a high interest rate. Now, I'm not suggesting that we're at the absolute peak of interest rates. I'm not suggesting that interest rates are going to drop like they did in the early 2000s over the next 5 years. But I can tell you this, we haven't had interest rates like this in quite some time. And with the way things are moving, it's certainly reasonable to think that we may not have these interest rates in the long term, that they're here for now. And so if you've got extra cash and it's that in-between money and you've got some time before you anticipate that you're going to need to use it and you want to keep it in something that lives like this and money in the bank, might be time to look for a little bit longer term than 9 months or 12 months. Go earn something from the money, lock in a pretty solid interest rate, and if it's money that you don't need to use in 9 months or 12 months, you very well may come out ahead. In our example from the 90s and early 2000s, you came out with $20,000 of extra money. That's $20,000 of the bank's money that they had to pay you had you locked in that interest rate. Now, we can't tell the future. We don't know that that's going to happen. But if you're sitting there right now and you got extra cash, it's worth looking into some longer terms, not just whatever the bank is pushing. Because here's the thing, the bank is pushing the 12-month CD because they anticipate that 12 months from now, they're not going to have to pay that level of interest, or at least they're willing to take that chance and say, well, we'll lock you in for a shorter period of time. If you can go a little bit longer with the money, if that fits into your plan right now, now's a good time to grab some interest. Now, let me pause from all of this interest rate talk for a second and say, if you're enjoying the video, if you like what you're watching, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Come on back. We've got lots of stuff about interest rates and retirement planning and tax planning, how to make the most from your money. That's really what we're all about. And if you like the video, I'd love to see you come back and watch another one with us sometime. That's what we've got today. Mind your cash. Get it working for you. Get it working for you as best you can. Don't let it just sit there and be lazy money in between the emergency fund and the long-term stuff. If you're looking for another strategy, have you considered a bond ladder? I've considered a bond ladder. I did a video about a bond ladder. I'll pop it up here. Go check it out. See what you think.